Hi, I'm Nelson, and this is the IELTS and General English training. In this video, we are going to focus on the IELTS. The IELTS, English for International Opportunity. This test or exam opens doors and creates opportunities. But you need General English to improve your General English. And when your General English is okay, chances are that you're going to score to get a higher score in the IELTS test. So in my videos, I normally give you lessons for the IELTS and also the General English. In this particular video, we are going to concentrate on the IELTS speaking test, part 1. Types of questions. These types of questions are common in part 1. What are these questions and how do you answer them? Learn English and make your dreams come true. Enjoy learning English. I try to make English very interesting such that you have love for it. Gear up for the action. To gear up means to prepare for something or to get ready. Get ready, get set, action. Question type 4. Types of questions. Another common type of questions in part 1 is types of questions. For example, tell me about the types of sports that are popular in your country. What kinds of restaurants are popular in your country? What types of restaurants can be found in your local area? What types of things do people collect in your country? What hobbies are common in your country? What types of TV programs are popular in your country? Now, all these questions are what you call types of. They want you to give the type of something, type of sports, restaurants, shops, and others, TV programs. How do you answer these questions? It's the purpose of this video. For example, tell me about the different types of public transport in your city. Let's answer this question. The most common problem with these questions is shown in the following answer. The following answer has a problem. In my city, there are many types of public transport. For example, buses, taxis, motorcycles, taxis, trains, planes, ferries, and minibuses. This is a typical answer, but this answer has many problems. If you have watched many of my earlier videos, you should know what's wrong with this answer. One of the problems is this answer focuses on the answer, mentioning them, types of transport. Everybody knows buses, taxis, planes. Everybody knows that. But is the examiner looking for that? Certainly no. The examiner is looking for the language ability, not the answer, not information. In this answer, the candidate lists 7 types of public transport. However, the answer is 100% content and there is no evidence of native speaker style language. Some candidates may believe that they get 1 mark for every type of transport that they list. But this is not true. Don't focus on the answer. The examiner, or most people will know the types of transport, but the examiner is looking for language ability. One reason for this answer is that when we speak our native languages, it is quite common to give these list style answers. Another possible cause of this is that in our school years, primary through secondary, we are given marks for each correct answer that we give. That's the origin of such answers. But in the IELTS, you'll be penalized for that. But if you want to speak proper English, you have to develop your answer. A good answer to these questions should be structured and developed in the following way. Begin with an opening phrase. So the best way is to begin with an opening phrase. In my earlier videos, I have told you that these have different names. They can be called lead-in phrases, opening phrases, conversation fillers. They are common in native speaker style English, and any student who uses them well in the IELTS will actually score highly. Of course, plus other things. Well, actually, sure, obviously, okay, certainly, of course, you know, of course, it goes without saying. Beautiful phrases. Whenever you are speaking English, whenever you are answering any question, it is wise to begin with any of these phrases. You need only one because they serve the same purpose. Then use one of the following. 1. There is quite a mixed variety of. There is quite a wide range of. Remember, they are asking for types of. Types of. Don't repeat the word, what are the types of? And they say the types of. Words like variety, range, broad range, diversity, mixture, they are almost like synonym. They mean type. So if you use the word type in the answer, that is vocabulary cycling. In my earlier videos, I have told you that vocabulary cycling is a problem in English. There is quite a mixed variety of. There is quite a wide range of. There is a fairly broad range of. There is quite an extensive diversity of. There is quite a diverse mixture of. Tell me about the different types of public transport in your city. Now let's answer the question in the right way. So the opening line might be, of course, it goes without saying. That is the conversation filler, the opening phrase. Of course, it goes without saying that. Now, when you see the word that, it gives you a complex sentence. That there is quite a mixed variety of public transport in my city. That's a beautiful sentence. You have produced a complex sentence. You have used linking device. Just producing this sentence alone will show that your English is good. If it is the IELTS, you score highly. Now use the following structure to introduce the first type. Remember, you are describing the type of transport in your country. But I guess the most plus adjective. You have to use, you are describing the transport. So you have to use an adjective here. An adjective is a word which describes a noun. Get one type of transport in your country and get one adjective to describe it. But I guess the most put an adjective would probably be. However, I suppose the most, though I think the most would potentially be, yet I imagine may be. Where you see adj, it stands for adjective. In these structures, you will need to select an adjective which fits the question. Here are some possible adjective suggestions. Adjectives to describe transport: frequent, reliable, safe. So when you are putting in, you use the superlative: the most frequent, the greenest, the high speed, the most reliable, the safest, the most secure, the most comfortable, the most affordable, the most available, the most convenient, the most efficient, the fastest. You use one of these and you put it in our structure there. Cleanest, direct. You choose one to describe any one type of transport. Uncomfortable, unreliable, ancient, crowded, dangerous, dirty. For example, so the first sentence could be, of course, it goes without saying that there is quite a mixed variety of public transport in my city. Though I think the most commonly used would potentially be buses. Now, there is a lot of public transport. The best is you choose one. The first one is buses. You can choose any. The most commonly used. You can change the adjective. You choose an adjective and put the type of transport that fits that adjective. In this particular country, the most commonly used would potentially be buses. Now use a phrase to add a detail. After mentioning the type of transport plus the adjective, you must add some detail. The thing with buses is that, assume buses are so, you add another adjective, because the point I want to add about buses is that, and what you have to realize with buses is that, remember, a phrase with that gives you a complex sentence. Now use a phrase to add a detail. You can also use 5, 6. And the explanation for this could be that. And the basis of this is that. So the first part of the answer could be, of course, it goes without saying that there is quite a mixed variety of public transport in my city. Though I think the most commonly used would potentially be buses. And the explanation for this could be that they are so cheap and reliable. In fact, the average bus fare means transport in my city, the amount of money you pay is about 1 yuan for a single journey. This is a beautiful answer. Why? It is a long answer. Why is it long? It has linking devices. What are linking devices? It has conversation fillers. It's beautiful because it uses complex sentences. They make use of the word that and they continue with the sentence. So you can borrow some of these if you want to produce a good answer or an answer which is in native speaker style English. Notice that the detailed sentence doesn't repeat the word buses. Instead, it uses the pronoun they. Some answers will need it. Also notice that the detailed sentence uses a linking word in fact to make complex structure. The word in fact can also help you to make a complex sentence. Now use a linking phrase to introduce a second type. We have finished buses, but we need to introduce, because the country doesn't have one type of transport. If you give one, you don't show that at least you have others. Besides buses, as well as buses, brackets mean, it doesn't mean that you always use buses, depends on what you use. In addition to buses, another kind of public transport would be, now use a linking phrase to introduce a second type. Another form of public transport, a second variety, a subsequent category would be something like, you choose one of these, 1 to 7. So the next part of the answer might be, as well as buses, a second variety of public transport would be something like taxis. Add a linking phrase to develop the second type. And the main characteristic of taxis is that, then you give the answer. And the unique aspect of taxis is that. And one exceptional aspect with taxis is that. Add the detail with a linking word to form a complex sentence. For example, as well as buses, a second variety of public transport would be something like taxis. And one exceptional aspect with taxis is that they are certainly the quickest way to get around town. So if you are in a hurry, then taxis are the best bet. The best bet is an idiom. When you use such idioms, you actually score highly. The best bet is the same as the best choice. Now you need to add a vague end to add a third type of transport. And of course, there is the usual things like, and obviously, you can also find things like, likewise, you can choose one of these. As might be expected, there are things like, and naturally, there are things like. So the final sentence might be, Likewise, as might be expected, there is things like ferries, motorcycle, taxis, and trains, although these are not as widely used as the first two that I mentioned. In this particular answer, we see only 3 types of transport. The first one mentioned over 7. These are only 3. But this is a beautiful answer because they have used redundant language and linking devices and complex sentences, which are an indicator of native speaker English style. So the finished structure might look something like, of course, it goes without saying that there is quite an extensive diversity of, put the topic. Still, I suspect that the most put the adjective. This follow the structure, and then you produce the answer. Summary of types of questions. Don't repeat the adjective used in the question. For example, what kinds of restaurants are popular in your country? In your answer, don't use popular. Yet I imagine the most widespread. Widespread is the same as popular. Don't recycle the vocabulary. Use the complete modal structure to answer the following questions. These questions will give you some practice. Practice your English. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.